Did you know that Denver was one of the top destinations to move to in 2020? So not only am I a local Denver agent, but I too, with my husband and our kids, moved from California to Denver. What prompted that move? Well, we're gonna dive right in and talk about why we left Cali to come to the great state of Colorado. California and Denver, because in the last decade, California has exported more people to Colorado than any other state. 90,000 people who had moved from the Golden State to the Centennial State. And within that decade, my husband and myself are one of those who had moved from California to Colorado. Aside from real estate, I am a wife, I am a mother, and I'm also a Gemini. So I have excitement throughout my entire life in all aspects between my husband and my kids and my own little personality. There's so many different things that prompt anyone to move. And I know for us, it was a huge shift in my life. And I'm gonna say not so much on my husband, just because he'd been traveling a lot. He was in the military. So I know it was still a big change for both of us, but for me, definitely, from being born and raised and living in California my entire life, and then to come here just a few years ago has been crazy. But there are so many things that prompted that move, and we're gonna go over those right now, because maybe it's something that you're thinking about doing, or maybe you know somebody who made the change too. First off, I am gonna say one of the major factors for us moving from California and choosing Colorado as our next destination was Mother Nature. Both my husband and I are very active, outdoorsy. We love to do we stay super active. We have 3 boys, so obviously that adds to a ton of activity. And Colorado is definitely for those who are outdoorsy. There are so many recreations, activities, sports. Everything is outside right here for our wheelhouse. There really is so much to do. There's hiking, there's fishing, there's mountain biking, skiing, snowboarding. So snowboarding was a huge factor for my husband, as he was a avid, at the time, snowboarder. So coming to somewhere where we wouldn't have to fly or drive 5 hours to go snowboarding was essential for him. Let's not forget that seriously, Colorado has one of the most beautiful terrains that there is, or that I've seen. I know for my own self, it was the mountains. Being from California, you think you see the big mountains, but coming to Colorado, moving to Denver, we have the Rocky Mountains, and those are pretty spectacular. Besides those mountains, you have rivers, you have lakes. They are all over. I feel like anytime I'm going to show a house or driving around a neighborhood, I see, wow, there's another lake. Wow, there's another river. There's just random lakes, random rivers just everywhere. It's just flowing through like little veins. For just a random fact, did you know that 1/3 of the land is owned by the government? There's not a lot of development, and it stays pretty natural. The second reason, and these are totally not in order, was definitely the military bases. Right here in the great state of Colorado, there are multiple military bases. Active duty, retired. It really is home to a lot of military people. Fort Carson, Schriever, Peterson, Buckley, Cheyenne Mountain Air Force Station, and of course we cannot forget the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. I know for us personally, being my husband is military, we really had to think about career and base choices, which is why this was a great place to choose for us, because it gave him so much more opportunity. Once we had moved here and we had gotten that all figured out, and I went and got my Colorado real estate license, I also right away jumped in to get my certification for MRP. Now, MRP is a military relocation professional, which I have a lot of military that I get to help find housing, relocate, whether they're coming in or going out. So that was a designation that I felt was super important for me to get, because again, the military was a big part of us even moving to Colorado in the first place. Now, if any of you are looking for agents who have certain certifications or you don't even know what those are those little acronyms that you will see after their name. Sometimes they'll have like 20 of them, sometimes they'll have 1 or 2. But if you guys want to know more about that, I actually have a video. I will have it linked up here where I do talk about a few of those designations and what they mean, because a lot of people actually don't even know. Just more education, more schooling, and being more of a professional in that particular field. And of course, if you're an agent or you just got your license or you've had your license and you're not sure what designations you should be getting or that they are, let me know in the comments below and I can direct you in the right direction. The third reason that prompted us to move was the low taxes. Colorado actually has the lowest sales tax of any state that has sales tax. Now, this was super important to us because obviously that's awesome if our sales tax is pretty low, right? But on a side note, we were coming here without knowing pretty much anyone. My family, like the majority of his family, like everyone's back in California, my whole sphere. And so not having a lot of support, not having that giant family foundation that I've been around my entire life before moving here was really scary. So that was just one more step to kind of ease our way into moving, knowing that it was somewhere that we could actually afford and try to make it on our own. I feel like with any great move or with any big life-changing event, you definitely want to set yourself up for success. And that was something for us because I had never lived on my own. My husband, like I said, he was in the military, but this was actually the place where we could live together and grow our family. So knowing that the sales tax is low, the property tax is low. Also, Colorado has a flat income tax of 4.63%, and that is based on 2021. All of those things, moving to somewhere brand new, growing a family, and all the things that come in with newlyweds and being married and trying to get your career going and figuring things out and not having a family foundational support, it definitely helped us with making our choice on coming to Colorado. Another great reason why we chose to come here was because Colorado has a very strong economy. Back when we moved here to Colorado, it ranked number 7 for strong economy, and California was sitting at 47. In 2019, Colorado hit number 5 and 5th overall. So with the cost of living not being high, a very strong economy, you're definitely more affordable, especially when you're comparing it to California where we came from. On a side note, for the business opportunities, I had not had my license yet. Ryan was not out of the military yet, but we both knew as we moved and we're growing our family, setting our goals, figuring out a career, what we want to do, we both knew at some point that we wanted to branch out. We wanted to be able to build our own, do something together. We wanted to have some kind of foundation for all these future plans that we were trying to make. The last thing that I want to talk about on why we moved from California to Denver is weather. Colorado actually gets, on average, about 39% of snow a year in the country, but you know, depending on where you're coming from, it does tend to melt fairly quickly. And I definitely can say from my experience and where we have lived, it reminds me of home. Up in California, it was a little mountain town, and it was literally the land of 4 seasons, which what it's named after, because we got summer, winter, fall, spring, all of it. We got the snow, and literally we could have a blizzard, we could have a downpour of snow. It'd be crazy high, low, depending on the year, right? And by next day, dang it, we have to go to school because it's all melted. So I feel like Colorado, and where I've lived in Colorado, it has definitely followed that trend, which has been really nice because honestly for me, I only like snow in the month of December because it's my favorite time. And I'll let you guess why. Summers in Colorado are beautiful along with the fall because there's so many trees here. They just blossom and bloom, and the colors, it's just a array of colors. Like I love showing houses in the fall because every street you drive down, there's just so many different types of trees, and the shades, like the colors, it looks like a painting to me. It's amazing. Now, another thing that we learned is Denver actually actually gets 300 days of sun, which is a lot. This was like the most exciting thing for me personally. Not so much my husband, like we don't really align on weather because I'm always cold and I like humidity, I like heat. He's more his perfect weather. Colorado got so much sun, everybody's like, oh my gosh, there's so much sunshine, like 300 days a year, like that's awesome. I was so excited. So let me emphasize what my issue was with now that I've been living here. So my own little thing for me, and this is just me, I don't call it 300 days of usable sun, only because like I can be laying out tanning, 90-degree weather and still get goosebumps. So when it's -10 outside and there's sun, I really feel like it's not usable. And that happens, you know, where we're at, that happens. So I feel like that was just a little bit of a, that's my only negative, well, I wouldn't even say it's negative. I would just say that was just a little disappointing because honestly, I love the beach. I love the sun. Like I could lay out on the beach all day. If I wouldn't, you know, I mean, obviously you can't do that. You'll get blisters and probably sun poisoning. But I would, if I could, sit on that hot sand all day, every day. Tell me there's gonna be sun. I'm expecting I'm gonna be able to utilize it in some way. But when it's really cold outside, I don't want to utilize it because I'm already cold sitting in my house that's at 80 degrees because I'm telling my husband I'm freezing and he wants it at like 60. So that's a whole nother issue. I'm sure lots of married couples or other mamas or wives out there have that issue. So, you know, drop me a comment. Give me a comment about that one. We'll chat about that in another video. But I do love that Colorado, once again, does remind me of my hometown because it does get all of the seasons, which I do love that. I love that we can have our summers, it turns into fall, it turns into winter, then it goes right into spring and the cycle starts all over again with summer. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you got lots of information. It's just a little bit of background about why we personally made the jump from California to Denver. Thinking about moving, if you're coming from, whether you're coming from California or another state, let me know in the comments below where you're coming from. Or maybe you actually just moved out of Colorado and went to another state. Let me know in the comments below. Let's chat about it. Of course, guys, if I do not